Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the fourth day, the month of January 2025, and we thank God for the gift of life. Nowadays, kuna kamata, so you need to thank God for the fact that you are alive. In this podcast, I want us to look at the speeches from John Mbadi, the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, and Oduor Wandayi in charge of energy. The speeches during the Pinluo Festival in Nyanza are what Wandayi said during the Pinluo Festival in Nyanza, and what actually Mbadi said during the burial of Moses Wetangula's mother is something that should worry Kenyans. And this is something that is very ironical, that the team that brag and remind the country about broad-based unity government are actually vomiting ethnic sentiments just to excite the masses. Kindly subscribe to our channel. We were vouching to cross the 100,000 mark by December, but of course we took the Christmas break. We're giving ourselves the next 1 month. Today is 4th January. By 4th February, I trust, I believe, we'll cross the 100,000 mark. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Subscription is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything if you subscribe. Click that notification bell down there. We are 96,100 subscribers. I strongly believe that with 96,000, we need 4,000 subscribers to reach 100, and it is possible. So kindly subscribe. It is saddening that the broad-based battalion believes unity is vouching for ethnic card in resource allocation. Last year, we saw statements from Johor, very regrettable statements from a cabinet secretary. And today, Wandayi is taking to the podium and telling the country that even though he's a cabinet secretary that is supposed to serve all Kenyans, irrespective of your ethnic orientation, race, color, or rather religion, resources on the energy sector divided, taking some bragging rights on taking more to his Luo nation.
And narrowing down to my docket, very, very briefly, we have committed to work closely with our members of parliament. And for the avoidance of doubt, on the 6th of January, I am convening a meeting of all Luo members of parliament in my office in Nairobi to agree on a roadmap to implement critical energy projects in our region here. We are not just discussing. As a matter of fact, we have gone ahead and allocated money, Baba. In these Luo counties alone, if I leave out the almost 12 billion shillings that we have negotiated from the African Development Bank, we have allocated close to 5.7 billion shillings, distributed as follows: Kisumu, 0.9 billion shillings; Siaya, 1.3 billion shillings; Migori, 1.67 billion shillings; and Homa Bay, 1.79 billion shillings. These are monies that we are channeling through our agencies of rhetoric and KPLC to address the issues of last mile connectivity. A project that is being spearheaded by the broad-based government under the leadership of President William Ruto. Finally, when I took over, and even as we speak, we have challenges of electricity supply here. One gichandrok marsi maturuaka mapeka yenya I want to tell you what we are doing to address that in 1 minute.
I know that quite some people will start looking at me differently and say, because you are a doer, so are you opposing development to your people? Don't get me out of context. I also acknowledge and that we are 41 tribes, I think 42 tribes in this country. And I acknowledge that Nyanza region is behind in terms of power connectivity. But again, I'm more objective to say that it is not just Nyanza region. I want to give a very good example. Last year, I was in Kilifi in the month of December in some sub-location known as Magongo, building some houses for some elderly members of the society. In the same year, in December, I was in Watamu, and this is the side of Kilifi, building another house for the two crippled brothers, Edison and Harrison. Now, let me tell you, and over the December, I was in Siaya, because that's my place. I managed to visit Sakwa Kapio for an empowerment program. I was in some parts of Ugenya, the Ligala areas. You know, I also visited. This is Moroni for some ceremony, and I was in another side of Nyakach known as Sango. I can say unequivocally that while it's true that Nyanza is behind in terms of internet connectivity, you cannot compare that with the level of poverty in Kilifi. I know many people may not take that. And it is not really in order. The people that, when Rigathi spoke about this tribal, this shareholding thing, Rigathi was labeled a tribalist, and the state machinery sharpened, weaponized to knock him out of government. But when the leaders that orchestrated his ouster take the microphone, they speak the same ethnic venom before the masses. Mbadi was in Bungoma to attend Moses Masika Wetangula's mother's burial. And the cabinet secretary, who is also in charge of, the money that is controlled in this country, made a vicious attack on the former regime led by former President Uhuru Kenyatta and deputized by the current president, William Ruto, that Uhuru borrowed money to build roads heading to Mount Kenya.
The public debt. Number two, the pending bills. Are you telling us that this public debt were incurred when Ruto was the president? Are you telling us that the pending bills amounting to almost 700 billion were incurred when Ruto was the president? Why have you forgotten how we got to where we are? Why are you blaming Ruto for fixing a problem that was created? Today, Your Excellency, I was speaking to one of my friends who is coming from Bungoma. He is going back to Nairobi. And he has to drive from Bungoma through Kakamega to Kisumu, through Narok, because Nairobi-Nakuru highway is impossible. But we borrowed money to do roads up to some villages. Some people take minutes to reach their villages. And an important road as Nairobi-Nakuru highway, no one saw the need to make it dual carriageway so that we can also reach our homes in good time. Which was of more economic value?
I want to say this. I think the statement by Mbadi, that is what Ichungwa needed even to address. instead of diverting to a non-issue, this issue of attacking Natembeya. I believe that in Western, there are also able leaders that even if there is existence of threat on Wetangula, I believe even within Fort Kenya, where I saw them also in the event, in the burial, there are able leaders that can defend Wetangula and not Ichung'wa. So Ichung'wa is seated there when Mbadi is talking about marginalization of regions in terms of resource allocation. And he's saying that roads leading to that place are made. Of course, it's true that I've gone to Mount Kenya. The roads are not bad. But again, on terms of get them reaching the villages easy, I think, I want to say this. From Nairobi to Siaya is 496 kilometers. Yes, it's 496 kilometers. To and fro is almost 1,000 kilometers. From Nairobi to Murang'a is less than 120 kilometers. You can't challenge me. And from Nairobi to Nyeri does not even compare to Nairobi Nakuru. So Mount Kenya is even close to Nairobi. So that kind of argument, to my end, you cannot compare someone going to Nyanza, even if that road is dual. The distance is a factor. The distance is a factor. Now, the ethnic isolation card ODM is playing to endear themselves to the president is the backward politics without any basis. And if this is just a CS positions, if the Raila axis are behaving this way just because of CS position, what would happen if Raila was the president? Oh, it's a question that most people don't want to talk about. And I'm asking that question intentionally. Because that is what, those are the things that people don't want to say. We might, if we show a lot of entitlement by just cabinet positions and make such utterances, what about if Raila was the president? Raila and the Luo nation should be worried about these utterances. And I know they're made. I believe the tone is to try to create an impression that it is our time to eat. Kenya is going to exist post-Ruto presidency. And I think this country belongs to this country, all of us. These utterances are dangerous. The sovereignty and disability and instability of the country. We belong to this country. And it's very regrettable that such utterances are made in front of the president, where the president have been parading a narrative to the country that broad-based government is a government of everyone, while CSS from the Luo Nyanza region are saying about that. It is dangerous. While Mbadi and Wandayi believes that their utterances can endear and excite the Luo nation, but these utterances are isolative in the long run. When it will come a time a son from the soil or a queen from the land will say, I want to be the president. These are the kind of utterances that will be recycled. And I believe, I don't think the Luonyans have never gotten a CS positions. Yes, reps are powerful. CSS from the region. So, to my end, Raila Odinga was a prime minister. So I don't know what is making it super. It's making it superfluous for the fellows to speak the way they speak. They want to endear to the president, but they are also isolating. In fact, the unity card, in fact, the ethnic card the two fellows are playing is creating antagonism and tribal weight that can disadvantage them. When I was having a peer, I was talking to one of our viewers about this, and I said, and he posed a question. I said, what Mbadi is saying And Wandayi is saying, if then the cabinet members say, we are only going to serve our regions. How many cabinet slots that Luo Nation have? Two. So Mount Kenya have more than 6. Don't you think they're even disadvantaged on that? I believe that Mbadi had an objective point on speaking on the way we spent our debts. The discussion about the port reaching Naivasha, I think, was settled. It was all about the resources. Not that there was money there were enough money to take it to Malava, then it stopped in Naivasha, no. And there was to be established a dry port in Naivasha. Fellows used to say during campaigns that it was Uhuru Kenyatta plan, and of course now time has shown that is not even it. It was actually to ease and transport of goods to the East African countries from the Naivasha port. So we are giving, and in fact, the Mbadis and Junet are giving false hope and creating unmet promises. I've heard him speaking about those billions. In the next 2 or 3 years, it is time for the region will interrogate whether that money went for that, whether there is even the existence of such money. Because the probability of rerouting budget is there. So bad leadership mantra, I believe that this is not the definition of stabilizing government. We are talking about ending ethnic bigotry, tribal bigotry, but then such statements are not working in the spirit of unity. If indeed there is some little hope in broad-based government bringing unity in the country. Too bad. Thank you, guys. Let's meet in the next. We're in the month of January. I want to say thank you for supporting a podcast. Last month, in this podcast, apart from political analysis, we now run a fully registered charitable foundation, registered under Bold Kevin Foundation, BKF. So we are going to roll 2 or rather 3 projects this year. So when we do the website, so this month we might not do any project, so that we want to do the website and then just officially roll up our first project in February. And may God bless you. Thank you.